Hello guys, welcome back to another Genshin video. Today I'm going to be doing a Fischl guide for you guys. She can proc a lot of Electro over a period of time, and she's super useful and very good in certain teams that make her shine. So today I'm going to be going over her best weapons, artifacts, and teams. So yeah, let's get right into the guide. So for those who don't know, Fischl is an Electro bow user who specializes in support and utility teams. Today in this video, we're going to be going over support Fischl and not main DPS. Maybe I'll do one about her main DPS potential another day, but for this video, I'm going to be going over support only. So yeah, let's get into her talents. Her elemental skill is Night Rider, and when this ability is used, she will summon Oz in the area he is summoned will do AoE electro damage. Oz is actually like a little turret that will just keep attacking with electro bullets, and will proc electro on the enemy each time it hits. You can also recall Oz to another position if you use the skill again. So if your enemies go out of range, just simply reposition them. This ability is extremely good and can have a potential of 100% uptime if you use Fischl correctly, which I'll get into that in a little bit. Her elemental burst, Midnight Phasmagoria, basically it turns Fischl into Oz, which increases her movement speed and strikes down nearby opponents with lightning. Once this ability ends, Oz will remain on the field and attack enemies. This will also reset the duration of his presence. So this is why you can have 100% uptime on your elemental skill. If you pop your elemental skill and then wait for your first Oz to disappear, then you can pop your elemental burst and then resummon it. So this ability combo is super good, makes it super useful, and allows her to proc as much electro as she can. Now, her first passive, Stellar Predator, when Fischl 40 charges an aim shot and hits Oz, it will strike down Thundering Retribution, doing AoE electro damage equal to 152.7% of the AoE's damage. This one isn't all too useful for main DPS or support Fischl. I haven't really seen anyone actually use this at all, unless it's like in a meme video. So this one's pretty meh. But her second passive is actually cracked. If the current active character triggers an electro-related reaction when Oz is on the field, the opponent shall be stricken with Thundering Retribution, dealing electro damage equal to 80% of Fischl's attack. So this passive makes her want to be used and built as an attack percentage character. And this allows you to do so much electro damage over the period of just attacking the enemy that's insane. So yeah, those are her abilities. They're really good and really helpful, and they synergize together perfectly. And they're really simple to use, so people of any skill level can use it. And all these abilities can be kept off the field too, so that your main DPS can do as much damage as they want. Also, I recommend leveling up the elemental skill and then the elemental burst, because the elemental skill is the one that actually contains Oz and will make him do the most damage. And then her elemental burst is also pretty useful, but you don't need to level it up as quickly as you do need the elemental skill. And yeah, that's all for the talents. Now let's take a look at Fischl's constellations, because most of the constellations are pretty good, but there are some constellations that actually make an extremely different beast, like C6, which we'll get to in a second. Constellation 1 is when Oz is not on the field, Oz will fire a joint attack dealing damage equal to 22% of Fischl's attack when Fischl performs a normal attack. So this only applies to Fischl, so this is more a main DPS Fischl, which we're not going over in this video, so this one's pretty useless for support. Constellation 2 is that your elemental skill deals additional damage of 200% attack as damage, and its AoE is increased by 50%. So this one's also pretty good and helps your Oz do way more damage, so this one's pretty good. Constellation 3 increases the level of the elemental skill. Constellation 4 is when you pop your elemental burst, it deals 222% of attack as electro damage to surrounding opponents. And when the skill ends, Fischl regenerates 20% of HP. This one's not all that crazy, but it's just more damage nonetheless, and your Fischl gets some health, so this one's pretty alright. Constellation 5 increases the level of elemental burst, and then Constellation 6 is the one that makes it an entirely different beast. It extends the duration of Oz by 2%, and additionally, Oz will perform joint attacks with your active character when present, dealing 30% of Fischl's attack as electro damage. So you know how Constellation 1 was when Fischl attacks and when Oz is not on the field? This happens when Oz is even on the field with any character, and it will do even more damage based on how much attack your Fischl has. This one makes your Fischl a completely different type of beast, so if you have C6, you're in luck because this makes it absolutely cracked. Yeah, and there you go, that's basically all for the constellations. Once again, all of these are pretty good, but none of them are really needed. But if you do have C6, you are going to be very happy with yourself. You're going to be jumping for joy because this makes it insane. Now, Fischl's best weapons. The best 4-star weapon for Fischl, and is actually the most used weapon on Fischl actually too, is the Stringless. The Stringless is extremely good for Fischl because of the passive. The Elemental Mastery substat doesn't really matter all too much, although it is just more damage in general. It's not really that helpful since electrical reactions don't do that much damage. But the passive on this is increases elemental skill and burst damage by 24%. So your 100% uptime Oz will have its damage increased by 24% no matter what. And then the burst damage of your lightning strikes will also be increased. So this was extremely good and extremely helpful if you have it. So if you have the stringless and don't have it on any other character, I do recommend you build it with your Fischl because this one's absolutely crazy. Probably the next best 4-star weapon is the Windbloom Ode. Again, it has Elemental Mastery substat, which isn't all that crazy, but its passive is pretty good because if you use an elemental skill, it'll increase your attack by 32% for 6 seconds. And as you know, Thundering Retribution scales off of Fischl's attack. That is why this one's pretty good because it just gives Fischl more attack percentage. I see a good amount of people use this, so if you did play during the event and don't have the stringless, then I recommend that you use this. And then there's a Favonius Warbow, which everybody has. Favonius Warbow isn't going to give you any crazy damage or anything, but it is reliable on giving you your burst more often, so you can have your 100% uptime Oz. It has an energy recharge substat, and its passive is when you hit crit hits, you have a chance to generate elemental particles. So you're not going to get more damage out of it, but it is pretty reliable, free, and helps you get your burst more often. Now the most used 5-star weapon for Fischl is actually the Skyward Harp, because it gives her a lot of crit rate and increases attack, and it's just an overall good weapon for your Fischl. Of course I don't have it, so I can't really show you that much of it, but it does increase the crit rate by a lot, and it's really good. But another honorable mention is probably going to be the Polar Star. Polar Star increases your elemental burst and skill damage by a certain amount, and as you get more stacks by just hitting people with your elemental skill, which Fischl can do all the time, it'll increase her attack steadily and steadily as she gets more stacks. So I haven't seen a lot of people test out Polar Star yet, so the most reliable option is probably Skyward Harp, but you might want to look out for some videos or for more information about the Polar Star. And yeah, that's basically all for the weapons. So the best weapon for 4 stars is going to be the Stringless, and then followed by the Windbloom Ode, and then the Favonius Warbow. And then the best 5-star weapons are going to be Skyward Harp, and then followed by Polar Star maybe, I'm not sure, I haven't seen anyone test it out on Fischl yet, so you might have to look up some videos and do some digging. But if you want a safe bet, you should probably level up Skyward Harp. And yeah, that's all for the weapons. Now Fischl's artifacts are pretty straightforward and pretty easy to look for, especially since you can do a lot of 2 pieces, so it makes it easier for you to get the artifacts. Now the most used artifact set combo for Fischl is actually 2-piece Thundering and 2-piece Gladiator. 2-piece Thundering and 2-piece Gladiator are super good because it increases her electro damage bonus, and then gives her attack, which once again, Thundering Retribution scales off of. So that's why you want to have a lot of attack on your Fischl. So this one's probably the most used and most reliable and easiest one to get, and it's also just really good. And of course, you can replace Gladiators with Shimenawas, since they have the same 2-piece set. Another good set on Fischl is actually the Tenacity of Militus set. The 2-piece doesn't matter all that much, but its 4-piece, if you don't know, is that every time an elemental skill hits, it increases the attack of all party members by 20%. This can happen even when the character is not on the field, and this is really good for Fischl because she's not going to be on the field for 90% of your gameplay. This one's pretty self-explanatory because increasing your attack of the entire team is pretty beneficial, and then Fischl can keep on doing a lot of electro proccing, and then your other characters can pop the electro reactions and do massive electro damage. So this one's really good on Fischl as well. And the last honorable mention is Thundering Fury. The 4-piece set is pretty good, but honestly I don't really recommend it because it increases the damage dealt of electro reactions for her. And most of the time you don't want Fischl to cause the reactions, you want your main DPS or someone else to cause them. So this increases your Fischl's damage, but most of the time it won't really be all that useful. So I don't really recommend going for 4-piece Thundering. I recommend that you do go for 2-piece Thundering, 2-piece Shimenawas or Gladiators because it is easy to get and it's better. Now for the main stats on your artifacts, you want attack percentage for the Sands, just to get more attack percentage on your Fischl, which will help her greatly. And then you want electro damage bonus for the Goblet, because it's just electro damage bonus, it's really good for her. And then you want either crit rate or crit damage on your circlet, depending on your ratio. For me, I have crit damage on. And now for the substats, honestly, I'd say go for attack percentage at the top, and then go for crit rate, crit damage, and then energy recharge. Attack percentage is just so good on Fischl because that Thundering Retribution damage is so good because it just scales off her attack. And that's basically all for the artifacts. Just to recap, you want to get either 2-piece Gladiators / Shiminawas and 2-piece Sun and Query, or you can use 4-piece Tenacity of Millilith. And then the main stats, you want attack percentage, electro damage bonus, and then crit rate, crit damage depending on your ratio. And then for substats, you want attack percentage, crit rate, crit damage, and then energy recharge. So yeah, that's basically all. Now for team building for Fischl. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently because Fischl works really good with certain characters and certain pairs that make it absolutely insane. So I'm not going to go over entire teams to build your Fischl around, but I'm going to go over certain characters that if you use Fischl on a team, it's highly recommended that you put one of these in them as well. The first combo I want to talk about is Fischl Beidou. Now Fischl Beidou is extremely good because Beidou's high energy cost burst makes it where she doesn't pocket as often, but if you use Fischl as a battery, it's absolutely amazing. Now Fischl is really good as a battery because every time Oz hits an opponent, it will generate an electro particle. So you have a steady stream of electro particles coming in at all times. And then on top of that, you'll park off the elemental resonance for electro, which makes it where every single electro reaction has a 100% chance to generate an electro particle, which can happen every 5 seconds. So you'll have electro particles coming out the wazoo if you use Fischl and Beidou together. So yeah, this is just an extremely good combo. You probably knew that already though. Another good combination I'm going to talk about is Fischl and pretend this is Eula. Now the reason why Fischl and Eula are super good pairs is because Eula is a physical damage dealer, and she's also cryo. And in order to do a lot of physical DPS, you need to pop Superconduct over and over again so you can decrease the physical resistance. And Fischl fits that role perfectly because you'll have Electro on enemies basically all the time. Another kit that she's pretty good with is also Xingqiu, because the constant Electro and Hydro applications allow for a lot of Electro charge reactions that will start chaining lightning to other enemies. Of course, Beidou and Xingqiu are a better combo, but if you don't have Beidou, Fischl is a really good substitute for this role. And there we go, those are all the characters that Fischl is really good with. So if you have those other characters too, I'd recommend you put them in a team with your Fischl because they will do amazing together and it'll just be awesome. So yeah, that's basically all for the team building. Now I think it's time that we do a little bit of a showcase. But before we do it, I do want to show you guys all the stats on my Fischl. So my Fischl's attack is 1,361. She has a crit rate of 31% and a crit damage of 144. And she has an energy recharge of 167. And her electro damage bonus is at 61%. So my Fischl one around, I'm actually just going to use Diluc and Fischl just so I can show you guys what she actually does and what the Thundering Retribution actually is. So I'm going to knock off his shield. Now go place Fischl's Oz, and then Puck Overload, and then that Thundering Retribution Lightning Strike that you see every time I Puck Overload happens because of Fischl's passive. And it will start doing lots of damage over time, and if it ever runs out, just pop your Elemental Burst, and then you have Oz again. And now this time I'm going to do it with a full rotation, so that's with my Diluc, Bennett, Beidou, and Fischl all combined. So I'm going to pop the Bennett, Beidou, Fischl, and I'm gonna have Electro going at the wazoo. And look at that Thundering Retribution Strike every time I Puck Overload. And there we go. Now if you actually have C6, those would be like 5 times better because of how good the C6 is. So if you have C6, just like, I don't know, like decrease the time it took me to take down the Whopper Flower by like 3 times or something. But yeah, as you can see, Fischl is extremely good. Well anyway guys, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. As you can see, Fischl is super powerful and useful, and she's really good for a lot of team comps. She's also really simple to use, and it allows your main DPS to maximize their potential. I hope you guys now know what weapons, artifacts, and teams to put your Fischl in, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So yeah, that's basically all. I'll see you guys in the next one.